Over the last years, blockchain has been considered a great advancement in business technology. In the last decade since its launch, companies, regulators, technologists have been exploring opportunities and investing time and money in finding what's going to be the business killer application. For example, the European Investment Bank is now considering using the blockchain for a debt issue in the next months, potentially leveraging this technology for the region's debt market. Similarly, companies are still exploring ways to find the business value so they can move from today's pilots to widespread adoption. A more exciting development has been the rise of speculative cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Ether, in the last months. This rise has created a new generation of crypto bulls who consider these currencies the cash of the future. Meanwhile, central banks and policymakers around the world are exploring the use of these concepts to create central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, for their citizens. What can we make of these developments? Our global financial system needs an upgrade. There's no question about it. If you go anywhere in the world, you will see that corporations today have to endure days and days for their transactions to settle. And also people in lower income societies will also spend a lot of money into transactions that are actually not that expensive. For example, if you want to buy anything in a different currency, we will see that you will end up paying around 2% of the transaction value. That is definitely way higher than the bank's cost. Furthermore, for the same service, corporations would usually pay 1/20th of that fee. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Many people thought that by now, Bitcoin would have been competing against the dollar as the global currency. In fact, people thought that because of its scarcity, Bitcoin would be a great hedge against inflation and economic crisis. In fact, if you look at Bitcoin today, people thought also that it could be a great store of value because its supply is limited to 21 million Bitcoins. In reality, today, not even Tesla is accepting Bitcoin to buy their cars because apparently of the exorbitant energy costs. Right. After hitting an all-time high of $64,800 on April 14, Bitcoin skidded by 43% to $36,890 by May 2021. Furthermore, the share of the cryptocurrency world for Bitcoin has actually slided from 2/3 to 1/2 since the beginning of 2020. If some people say Bitcoin will become very successful, let me tell you what's going to happen. Governments will try to kill it, and they do have the power to do so, as investor Ray Dalio has already warned. So for now, please join me today in wishing Bitcoin a happy afterlife after its wildly speculative rise ends. Other cryptocurrencies are ready to step up to the plate. Beyond Bitcoin, Ethereum is ready to pick up the torch and carry on the dream of Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin and Ethereum are very similar, but they have a big difference. Ethereum is programmable. That means that programmers can write code, create rules, and implement new code, new applications on the platform. They can also implement smart contracts, which can be used to validate agreements securely. You can think of the applications that can be developed in the Ethereum platform as the apps that you find in Apple's App Store or Google's Android system. The biggest difference, though, is that you won't find a tech giant behind the scenes controlling the Ethereum platform. That is precisely what attracted a lot of people to the crypto world. It is decentralized. No single person is controlling the platform. Furthermore, in the case of the Ethereum platform, this platform can also be leveraged by other cryptocurrencies. The use case most people would be familiar today are NFTs, non-fungible tokens. NFTs basically create a digital ID for a piece of art, creating specific rules about the transfer of future ownership. For example, you can feature an NFT that incorporates a rule that the author will actually get a certain percentage of any profits in future transfer of this digital art. As of now, NFTs are going through the power stage. On the other hand, smart contracts can re-engineer and potentially revolutionize processes that today are bogged down by paperwork and outdated practices. You can imagine in the world that the sale of concert tickets, insurance, music rights, any other type of real estate, plus transfers of money and financial transactions are powered by smart contracts. Ethereum then can become the platform that powers these applications of the future. There's a lot of talk today about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. For now, these currencies only exist as pilots in countries such as England, China, Sweden, and Uruguay. For example, China handed out $30 to around 50,000 Beijing residents for them to use their new digital currency. These currencies will actually be linked to personal IDs. Central banks will have different degrees of control over this money and also visibility over their transactions. Ultimately, what we expect using CBDCs is that countries won't be leaving this control of monetary policy to private entities. Why would central banks would do that when they are able to do it better using CBDCs in a seamless and easier way? If you buy Bitcoin today, do it at your own peril. Instead, explore Ethereum and other platforms that implement smart contracts. Ultimately, be prepared to deal with your government's own digital currency.